Like I say, one of the most notable things around 1920s to 1940s was the perception rail. I love that idea, the perception rail. What people perceive, if people perceive it to be true, then it must be true. If people think you're a superstar and a computer genius and smart, then you must be smart. Like I said, Zachary just had a gun, and basically, it wasn't even his gun. I think him and his friend actually wrestled the gun out of the hands of the other guy. I think the girl, the teacher's boyfriend was a police officer or something. Anyways, well, anyway, he was somebody and he had a gun on him. I forget exactly what the deal was, but basically it was a teletype room, and I forget exactly what the deal was. It was a big Irish thing, but it wasn't really Irish. I mean, the Irish were there, but because it was in Ireland, and basically, I guess a foreign exchange student, Zacory or whatever, was there, and basically he got the gun, he shot the guy. Anyway, some point it goes to rape. Um, I guess he always liked this other girl or something like that, and he was like trying to pressure. They were trying to pressure the other girl or something. I don't really know exactly what the deal was, but like I say, basically, I mean, look at Ireland, look it up in the newspaper. He probably burned. I think he burned down the paper place with all the records or something. But I mean, everything's copied, so maybe he didn't realize that a lot of records are duplicated. So there were other records of basically what Zachary had done in the past, in Ireland, and how he had pretty much wrestled a gun. Him and his friend had wrestled a gun from someone, and then they had shot the someone. Then it was a hostage situation, and then when the cops broke in there, it they said that they had finally wrestled the gun away from the hostage taker, and it was him. The teacher, anyway, no one believed him though, and everyone called him crazy because he was crazy. He's a nuts schizo freak. Um, Anyway, alpha male shit. Basically, Zachary is a really, really, really psychotically bad person. He's mostly dangerous to people that are immediately around him. I told everybody about him. So because I mean, it's like I mean, everybody knew about him anyway. His name's Zachary, and he was a really bad person, and it got put out who he was or what he had done. And then nobody trusted him after that, and basically his life spiraled downhill into drugs and sex, and I don't know. Anyway, Bill Gates' story is really bad. Just a bunch of going from one place to another place. He couldn't live where he was. He said it was his home, but it wasn't really his home. Anyway, I don't know, drugs, sex, whatever, alpha male shit. He was a kid that felt powerful or liked to feel powerful or something. Anyway, though, eventually he gets involved with the depleted uranium. He finds out the bare basics about a nuclear reactor or a type of nuclear reactor and decides to start using it as a shell type or something like that. He gets some money. They make some shell types, and they go up against some real forces or something. And I don't know. It's really bad. Lots of nuclear radiation. Basically, it's insane to use those kind of rounds. But Zachary didn't really care as long as his side won or something like that. And pretty much, they use nuclear. It's a nuclear reactor in a shell, basically. Even my German scientist said, well, it's basically just a nuclear reactor in a shell. Um, it reacts off of the steel. It's a very, 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 very old basic type of reactor. And it's like, yeah, well, it'll cut through a lot of things like butter. It'll also irradiate you. It'll irradiate the person you send it at, or the people that they're standing between the object and the thing you send it at. It'll also irradiate the thing that you shoot. It basically irradiates everything. It's a reactor, basically just pretty much a reactor without the water. Um, open reaction. He liked to call it open source. Um, Open source shell, basically, or something like that. Anyway, though, I don't know why they built them. used uranium oxides basically, and it's basically really dangerous. Like I said, most of the people that would even get near the shells would die, pretty much. Um, they didn't drop off the shells until the day of the fight, because pretty much every second you spent around them was basically was a second less you had to live. It was constantly irradiating everybody around those shells, and was just insane to use. But it would win a fight, yeah. It would also kill your soldiers. It would kill, like it didn't. It would kill your soldiers too that handled the shells. Like even with lead lining and all the other stuff, it was still, you know, they were supposed to only use like, it's basically insanity, pretty much. There are 100 other ways that are just as good, that are just as effective to take out a tank. Using a copper jet works just as good. Basically, it's a much more expensive way to destroy things, but although I don't know, I mean, either or, but only one your troops don't die, and the other one your troops do die. So the other shells are just as effective. Anyway, though, it was insanity. But Zacory didn't really care about anyone, and he didn't really want any witnesses either to what they were doing. So basically, they did it. Anyway, his team was victorious. His army was victorious in battle, and he felt like a crimson god. They killed a bunch of people. I don't know. I mean, he killed his own troops. He basically had to have 3 or 4 sets of troops to actually do the attack, because the first set died from just the rounds that they were handling, and it contaminated the whole place. So you couldn't even be there for a while. Basically, the whole place is contaminated now, pretty much. Anyway, I mean, if you want to take down a force, yeah, I mean, you'll win. You could shoot. It would go through pillboxes. It would go through anything. It would also kill your soldiers. So not exactly a sustained fight weapon, pretty much. Anyway, though, yeah, I mean, for the moment you take it out of the lead line case, you're basically dying, pretty much. My troops wouldn't use them. I would never give my troops something like that. It's insanity. But I mean, it takes it would kill it. Well, my troops would take 2 or 3 shots to take down a target, and they could do it in one, and kill everything else, and kill themselves. So technically they would win, but their troops would die. The place would be a radioactive nightmare afterwards. It's basically like pretty much taking a nuclear reactor and basically going, here you go, enjoy. Yeah. I mean, if you're not ever going to live there or be there, then yeah, I mean, very effective weapons. Anyway, though, but yeah, I mean, Nixon didn't really give a fuck, though. Nor did Zacory. They just wanted to win. They didn't care how. So, yep. Very not part of my team or anything else. Anyway. But I believe they hit a blockade at Mars. Like I said, there's a lot of people that were communicating with the other planets. And I think the teletype room was a communication with the other planets or something like that. Like you could communicate to the other planets through the computer. Anyways, this whole big thing that was going on the last like 50 years or 100 years, pretty much, and basically it ended it ended at Mars, where the army that they had built for them was a bit small, like I say, a bit smaller. So their troops went off to basically go conquer the galaxy, and then found themselves with small ships. That really didn't do them any good, and they were trapped on a ship that was a lifetime away from home. And yeah, anyway, I'm pretty sure their kids would pick up the fight or something. I don't know. Anyway, something. Basically, they died on the ship, pretty much. It was like this takeover plot, and they got to the spaceship, got to Mars, found the ships that were already built for them that weren't right, and basically that's where it ended, pretty much. and then other things happened. So anyway, shrug.